You deserve nothing. Not success, not wealth, not recognition, not a single thing you have not earned with your own hands. That sentence just made you uncomfortable. Good. That discomfort is the exact reason you are not where you want to be. The wealthiest people on earth operate from a mindset that most people find offensive. They believe they are owed nothing. They expect nothing. And that belief is precisely why they have everything. Meanwhile, you are waiting for your turn, waiting for someone to notice you, waiting for the success you feel entitled to finally arrive. It is not coming, not like that. The next 15 minutes will rewire how you think about earning your place in the world. Before we dive deeper, hit like and subscribe so you never miss our videos, and share this with someone who needs to see it. Here is the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to acknowledge. You have been infected with entitlement. Not the obvious kind, not the demanding, arrogant, give it to me now kind. Something far more dangerous, subtle entitlement. The quiet belief that your effort should be rewarded, that your time should be valued, that your dreams should come true because you want them badly enough. Wrong. Effort guarantees nothing. Time has no inherent value. Dreams mean absolutely nothing without relentless execution. But here is what separates the wealthy from everyone else. Rich people deleted the word deserve from their vocabulary. They stopped expecting outcomes based on inputs. They accepted a brutal truth that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. The universe owes you nothing. The market owes you nothing. Your customers owe you nothing. Your employer owes you nothing. Nobody is keeping score of your sacrifices, waiting to reward you. That is not pessimism. That is freedom. When you truly internalize that you are owed nothing, something powerful happens. You stop waiting. You stop expecting. You start earning with a hunger that entitled people will never understand. Which mindset are you operating from right now? The anti-entitlement framework. Let me show you exactly what this mindset looks like in practice. Anti-entitlement is not self-hatred. It is not believing you are worthless. It is not accepting less than you are capable of achieving. It is the radical acceptance that outcomes are earned, never given. That success is extracted, never delivered. That wealth is built, never bestowed. Here is how rich people think differently. When they lose, they do not complain about unfairness. They analyze what they did wrong and fix it. When they win, they do not celebrate for long. They immediately ask what is next and how to protect what they built. When opportunities pass them by, they do not feel cheated. They create better opportunities through relentless action. This mindset looks cold from the outside, but inside, it is the most empowering way to live. Because when you expect nothing, everything becomes a bonus. Every win feels like a gift. Every setback feels like data instead of injustice. Ready for the part that will change everything? The 3 pillars of anti-entitlement. Pillar 1, radical ownership. This is where it all starts. Taking complete responsibility for every result in your life. Not some results, not the ones you cause directly, every single result. Your income? Your responsibility. Even if your boss underpays you, even if the economy crashed, even if your industry is dying, your income is your responsibility because only you can change it. Your health, your responsibility. Even if you have genetic disadvantages, even if your job is stressful, even if healthy food costs more, your health is your responsibility because only you live in your body. Your relationships, your responsibility. Even if your partner's difficult, even if your family is toxic, even if everyone around you is negative, your relationships are your responsibility because only you choose who gets your time. Entitled people look for someone to blame. Anti-entitled people look in the mirror. That single shift changes everything about how you approach problems. If you are serious about building wealth with the anti-entitlement mindset, you need a system. Not motivation, not inspiration. A proven framework that turns radical ownership into real results. That is exactly why I created the VYBO Wealth Blueprint. It is the complete system for building wealth the way self-made millionaires actually do it. No shortcuts, no entitlement, just the exact frameworks, strategies, and daily practices that separate the wealthy from everyone else. Inside, you will find the ownership protocols that delete victim mentality, permanently. The wealth accumulation systems that work regardless of your starting point. The mindset tools that keep you executing when everyone else quits. This is not theory. This is the blueprint. Link is in the description. Your wealth is your responsibility. Act like it. Pillar 2, relentless effort without expectation. This is where most people completely break down. They work hard. They put in the hours. They sacrifice their weekends and their sleep and their comfort, and then they expect results. That expectation is the poison. Entitled effort has strings attached. I did the work, now give me the reward. I sacrificed, now pay me back. I earned this, now hand it over. Anti-entitled effort has no string. You work because work is what builds things. You sacrifice because sacrifice is the price of growth. You earn nothing until someone voluntarily gives you their money, their attention, their respect. Here is the brutal truth. Most people refuse to accept. You can do everything right and still lose. You can work harder than everyone and still fail. You can sacrifice more than anyone and still come up empty. That is reality. And anti-entitled people accept it completely. They work anyway. Not because they expect outcomes, because effort is the only variable they control. Because hard work compounds even when individual attempts fail. Because the alternative is sitting around feeling entitled to success that never comes. Stop expecting your effort to be rewarded. Start expecting your effort to be the reward. Pillar 3, deep understanding of exchange. This is the pillar that wealthy people understand instinctively and broke people never grasp. Value must be exchanged, not demanded, not expected. Exchange. You do not get money because you need it. You get money because you provided value someone was willing to pay for. You do not get opportunities because you deserve them. You get opportunities because you demonstrated capability someone wanted to leverage. You do not get respect because you exist. You get respect because you built something that commanded it. Entitled people that think about what they want to receive. Anti-entitled people think about to what they can provide. That single shift in focus changes everything about your result. When you walk into every situation asking, what can I give instead of what can I get, abundance follows you. Opportunities appear. Wealth accumulates. Success compounds. Not because you deserved it, because you earned it through exchange. Let me bring this together. We have covered the 3 pillars: radical ownership, relentless effort without expectation, deep understanding of exchange. Now let us get tactical, because understanding this mindset means nothing if you cannot implement it daily. Here is how you actually rewire your brain. Not theory, concrete practices starting today. Practice 1, the ownership audit. Every night before bed, review everything that happened, every result, every outcome, every interaction. For each one, ask yourself one question. What did I do or fail to do that contributed to this result? Not what did they do? Not what happened to me. What did I do? Find your contribution to every outcome, even the ones that feel like pure external circumstances, especially those ones. This practice is uncomfortable at first. You will resist taking ownership for things and that genuinely were not your fault. Do it anyway. Within 30 days, your brain will start looking for ownership automatically. Within 90 days, victim mentality will feel foreign to you. Within a year, you will not recognize the person who used to blame external circumstances. Practice 2, the expectation delete. Every time you catch yourself expecting an outcome, consciously delete it. I worked hard. I deserve this promotion. Delete. Replace with I worked hard. The promotion decision is not mine to make. I was nice to them. They should be nice back. Delete. Replace with I was nice because that is who I am. Their response is their choice. I invested in this. It should pay off. Delete. Replace with I invested based on my analysis. The market will do what the market does. This feels unnatural at first because entitlement is wired deep, but every deletion weakens the pattern. Every replacement builds the new operating system. Do this for 60 days and watch how your emotional relationship with outcomes completely transforms. Practice 3, the value question. Before every meeting, every call, every interaction, every piece of content you create, ask yourself one question. What value am I bringing that someone would voluntarily pay for? If you cannot answer that question clearly, you are not ready for the interaction. If your answer is weak, strengthen it before proceeding. This question forces you to think in terms of exchange instead of entitlement. It keeps your focus on providing instead of receiving. It guarantees that every action you take is oriented toward earning instead of expecting. Rich people ask this question constantly, often unconsciously. They are always thinking about the value they create because they know that is the only thing that matters. But here is where most people completely self-sabotage. Even people who intellectually understand anti-entitlement fall into these traps constantly. Trap 1. Comparison entitlement. They have it and I do not, so I should have it too. This is entitlement wearing the mask of fairness. Someone else's success creates no obligation for your success. Someone else's wealth creates no debt owed to you. Someone else's results are completely irrelevant to what you deserve. You deserve nothing because they have something. You earn things by creating value, not by pointing at others who created value differently. Trap 2. Effort entitlement. I worked so hard, I deserve results. This is the most common trap because it feels so reasonable. Effort should equal reward, right? Wrong. Effort in the wrong direction produces nothing. Effort without strategy wastes time. Effort that nobody values generates zero income. Hard work is necessary, but not sufficient. You can dig holes all day and deserve nothing because nobody needed holes dug. Anti-entitlement means accepting that effort alone earns nothing. Value earns everything. Trap 3. Time entitlement. I have been doing this for years. I deserve success by now. Time invested creates no obligation for returns. You can do the wrong thing for decades and deserve nothing. You can spin your wheels for a lifetime and earn nothing. Time plus reflection plus adaptation earns results. Time alone earns gray hair. Anti-entitlement means accepting that your history creates no contract with the future. Every day, you start from zero. Every day, you must earn again. Here is what nobody tells you about this mindset. Anti-entitlement creates more abundance than entitlement ever could. When you stop expecting outcomes, you start noticing opportunities. When you take radical ownership, you gain radical control. When you focus on exchange, value flows back to you naturally. Entitled people repel abundance because they approach every situation with their hand out. Anti-entitled people attract abundance because they approach every situation with value to give. The person waiting to receive gets nothing. The person actively creating gets everything. This is not positive thinking. This is not manifestation. This is simple market dynamics. Value creators get paid. Value expectors get ignored. Which one are you? This is not about techniques. This is about who you become. You need to transform from someone who believes they deserve success into someone who knows they must earn it daily. That transformation is uncomfortable. Your ego will fight it. Your conditioning will resist it. Every participation trophy you ever received will scream that you are wrong. Do it anyway. Because the person who believes they deserve nothing and earns everything will always outperform the person who believes they deserve everything and earns nothing. That is not motivation. That is mathematics. Entitled people compete with other entitled people for scraps. Anti-entitled people build empires, while entitled people complain about unfairness. Which competition do you want to be in? The anti-entitlement mindset separates the wealthy from everyone else. Not because they are smarter, not because they got lucky, because they deleted the word deserve from their operating system. 3 pillars: radical ownership of every outcome, relentless effort without expectation, deep understanding that value must be exchanged, never demanded. 3 practices: the nightly ownership audit, the expectation delete, the value question before every interaction. 1 transformation: from someone who waits to receive into someone who creates to earn. You deserve nothing. That is not an insult. That is your liberation. Now stop expecting. Start earning. Your move.